There were more than 20,000 Nigerian students who studied at American universities and colleges last year in 2024. Nigerians are among the top international student population in the United States as well. Just last year, the country ranked number 7 in terms of countries that send international students to the United States. One interesting fact that I also found about Nigeria and Nigerians is that they are the number 1 holder of PhD among immigrants in the United States. My guest this morning is one of those exceptional Nigerian who chose to study in the United States. Hello and welcome to the Global Scholar Gateway. My name is Dr. Yaro, your host. And as promised, every other week, we are here on this platform to share the stories of some exceptional individuals who've made their dream come true, that dream of studying in the United States, that dream of securing admission and also scholarships to study at some of those top institutions around the world, namely in the United States, in Canada, and in the UK. Without further ado, let me bring on my guest this morning. Hello, Dami. How are you doing?
Hello, good morning, Dr. Yaro. It's good to be on the show today. So excited.
I am so glad. I am so glad to have you with us this morning. Before we jump into the conversation, please type in the comments where you are watching us from. If you're watching from Nigeria, please type it in the comment. Also, if you have questions, feel free to type them in the comment section. And do us a favor, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, please do so. Just type Dr. Fatin Yaro on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Is going to help us a lot. It's going to help us continue bringing you some exceptional individuals just like Damilola to share their stories with you. All right, Dami, for those who are discovering you for the first time, do you mind introducing yourself?
Okay, my name is Damilola Atonda. I'm a second year master's student wrapping up in this May. I'm excited about that. I'm from Nigeria. I'm married to my husband, Ayoluwa Nimashao. And let me see. Well, Dr. Yaro says I've been doing exceptionally well in the years. We'll see about that.
Yeah,
um,
there's definitely no doubt that you've been exceptional, that you've been doing some amazing thing, and we will get the chance to talk about all of those.
yeah.
Do you mind sharing, with our viewers a little bit about your background? Where did it all start? Where were you born? Where did you go to primary school? Where did you go to high school? Where did you go to college in Nigeria?
Okay.
And so on and so forth.
Okay, so I was born in Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh,
Yes,
you are
Lagos, Nigeria.
a city girl.
Yes, the city girl, the most busy part of Nigeria, should I say even West Africa. And
Yes, yes,
my
in Africa, it's the, I think, most populated city in
yeah,
Africa.
correct,
It
yeah.
used to be Cairo at some point, but
Mhm.
Nigerian took over. I think there are close to 20 million
Yes.
people that live in Lagos.
Mhm. Yeah, I did my primary school, like we call it in Nigeria, in Lagos, precisely in Bagada area for the old part of it. Then from there, I went into high school at MIGTEC International High School. I was there for 2 years. That's in Ogudu, Ojota. And then I moved to another high school, which was Good Shepherd Comprehensive High School, where I finished my high school. And from there, I went further to do my bachelor's in Ekiti State University in Ado Ekiti, where I studied economics education. And then after that, I did some work experience in the administrative side of education, in the academic side for a couple of years. And then I decided to come to the US to study for my master's program. That's in higher education student affairs. And
Mhm.
then I'm wrapping up
Well,
now.
yeah, you mentioned that you studied economic education. It looks like you are in a family of people
Exactly.
who deal with money, with finances. Because I had your husband a couple of weeks ago, and he used to be a banker in Nigeria. Why did you choose to study economic education?
Well, in high school, I really loved economics. That was like my best subject. Probably should I say that the teacher then made it very enjoyable. he didn't make it. Economics is one of those kind of difficult subjects for most people, but the teacher made it so like enjoyable in class. Beyond just teaching, it was also like he had a relationship with everybody. So we were very like comfortable in class to ask questions if we didn't understand, than being very rigid and scared to ask questions in classes. So I just love the old DYDX thing. The whole DYDX thing, the whole like thing that has to do with buying and selling, the whole thing that has to do with like forecasting, estimation, all those kind of. It was so interesting to me, and I think I also found it more interesting when I went to for my bachelor's in university. So even though it was like a double major economics education, but I really enjoyed economics too. That calculation thing, I just loved it. I think I even kind of loved it than reading theory for exams. I love it. Calculation, I kind of prefer that.
Yeah, that's definitely not my cup of tea. I am not a big fan of calculations, anything related to math. That is not for me. But anyway, you went to Ekiti and got your bachelor's degree in economics education. What did you do after that?
Yeah, so after that, went to the workforce, started working. First, I started working in a school, in an high school as a teacher. I was taking senior classes from different schools, not just one school. I transitioned from Ogun State. Then I went to Lagos State to also teach. I was taking senior classes, preparing them for WAEC, that we call in West Africa, the external examination, preparing them for SSC, preparing them for JAM and all of that. So I was also there for like some couple of years. However, I kind of transitioned a little into the other side of corporate world. That's the kind of the banking side for, should I say, altogether should be for a year. And then I came, okay, yeah, at some point I also did some administrative experience. I had some administrative experiences in the educational side of things. That's in the Ministry of that was under like District 6 of Lagos State. So every just like in the US, we have USD, this, USD, this, where each schools are being those USD are the ones like organizing, or should I say giving administrative back end for the school. So I was working in that kind of side of education for a couple of months, and then I moved back into education, like teaching. And then I came here. At some point, I was doing like a master's degree in Nigeria, but I didn't finish that. And I came to the US. So
Okay, so where did you get that interest in studying abroad? What sparked that passion or that interest in you to get an education abroad?
okay, people, they say opportunity comes but once. So even though sometimes it's just like at the back end of your head, like, okay, if it happens, fine. But when the opportunity came for me, I was ready to grab it. So when I saw the opportunity, I was like, why not? Why not give it a try? There's no harm in trying. That's what I believe. There's no harm in trying. At worst comes to worst, if it doesn't happen, then I know I've exhausted every option I have to
Yeah,
pursue.
how did you get that opportunity? Where
Okay,
did it all
so
start? Yeah.
I started. So my husband, who was my fiance then, we were planning to study abroad, this kind of thing. So we started with him at first. So when he got in to the US to start his master's program, so after that I was the next person. So started planning for mine. So it was like, okay, you go first, and then I'll do my next. So after he had come in, then we started working towards mine. So
So
immediately there was no
you
breathing.
you kind of sent him to explore the ground and prepare the
You
ground
get
for
it,
you to.
yeah, exactly. So that was how I started the journey of
Okay,
class.
okay. All right. For those who are just joining us, please feel free to type in the comment where you're watching us from. We would really love to know where you are watching us from. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, please do so. That's going to help us grow. It's going to help us continue bringing you some amazing individuals just like Damilola to share their stories with you so that you too can make your dream come true, that dream that you have to study abroad in the United States. So type in the comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will continue bringing you some amazing individuals. So Damilola, you mentioned that you sent your husband first to the United States to explore the ground and prepare the grant for you to also join him. I know him, as I mentioned. I had him on this show a couple of weeks ago. But were you looking into other universities? Did you apply to other universities also, or you only focused on the university, Forte State University, where he was studying?
That's a very important question. So yeah, Fort A State University was the first, obviously, because that was where he was, and obviously he knows how things go around there, and the connections he has built was going to really help in the long run. However, I still applied to one other school, but that was just by the way. So my whole attention was more on Fort A's, and looking at the way the admission process was going smoothly, it made me just like bring my whole attention to just Fort A's. And
you mentioned that the admission process was going smoothly. What do you mean? So how was your experience with the admission team or the people you were interacting with in the process of application to Forte State?
Okay, yeah. So when I started the application, did the normal application, filling of your information on the portal, on their website, I mean. So and I submitted all my credentials that was needed. It didn't really take a long time before I got my admission. And secondly, whenever I needed, I asked questions, they responded promptly. So the turnaround time was very good. So it was already giving me a kind of like, this feels like a place to be. Like, when people respond to your questions, it doesn't take like 10 or 12 days or whatever before you get a response like I would have normally expected from where I'm from. So it just made it more like, okay, this feels like this is a more, they pay more attention to your information, to your questions and all of that. So it was easy. I got the admission, and then the next thing was funding, because that's like the most important thing for many international students coming to study in the US. Funding is that's another story entirely.
So yeah, definitely funding is very important when it comes to studying in the United States. We know that it's not accessible to many, and coming from West Africa, sometimes gaining those scholarships and assistantships are very crucial, very important. Otherwise, it just becomes a little bit complicated for a lot of people to afford the cost of tuition and attend school in the United States. While you're sharing about your experience on the application and admission process at Forte State University, I just wanted to share the website of the university for our viewers and those who are hearing about that school for the first time. So this is the website of the school that Damilola mentioned, and this is where she's currently completing her master's degree. You can visit the website for yourself and also look into how you can apply and secure admission and start your process, your journey here at Forte State University. Damilola, you mentioned an important component in your journey and experience in the United States, gaining scholarship, assistantship. So how was your experience with that?
So at the beginning, after getting admission, and then you started reaching out to my academic advisor at that time, like stating that I needed funding, assistantship, and all of that. So at first, at that moment, there was no opening, because when I got my admission was to resume in spring. And that period is a period where it's hard for you to get funding. It's mostly in the fall. So, but then I'm just thankful that it was really someone that was going to go the extra mile. It was really helpful. I can say his name is Dr. Oates. He's such a big fan of me. He's a supportive Dr. Oates.
Oh, okay, Dr. Philip Oates. Okay, yeah, shout out to him if he's watching.
Yeah, I hope so. So, and at the beginning, he just understand that it was difficult to get one at the moment, but then if he gets one, it will send to me. So while that was still like in the pipeline, I was still reaching out to other departments to, like I said, my husband was there already. So we're just like, okay, reach out to this person, reach out to this person. But everything was not really coming out like I wanted. But then they were just giving me hopes that, okay, I could still apply just like for the fall. If peradventure I don't get one for the spring, they will just have my name down in case. But then, you're looking forward to having something at a particular time. You have a timeline in your head. You've planned all these things in time, but it wasn't working out at that time. But I just kept positive. At some point, they reached out to me. That's the International Student Services Office. If I was going to defer my admission, I think that was like the option I had in mind. But then I was like, okay, let me just hold. Let me not respond yet. Let's see by November. Then let me see if I don't get anything. And funny enough, that November period, towards the ending of November, Dr. O just sent me an email then saying, okay, I'm connecting you with this person, Will Bonds, who has an opening in the department, connect with him and whatever. So just did that connection, and then I connected with him. We did an interview via Zoom. It was not even it was not even in office. It was just somewhere, I think maybe at home or something. And we did the interview. It went really well. And from that moment, I got the funding. I got the assistant. She granted me the assistant. I was so excited. And then after that, doing the whole process of okay, reaching out to the ISS office to integrate and everything to just like make that reflect in my I-20 was another issue because okay, there was like a what's it called? There was a deficit that was left. And then looking for the money, as a you're looking for that is in USD, not in Naira. So you have to look for the money to show that okay, you have that proof of fund. But then it wasn't coming through. And then I just reached out to Waybont again. That's the person who will be my manager. And like, okay, I'm having this issue because it was expecting me to resume spring. So we're hopeful. And it was okay, going to that no, that I should tell the graduate school that I am is it's a full funded assistantship, and that there's no need to get a proof of it was like I was like, is this a miracle or something, or what's going on here? So that just happened, and then I had like full funding, like I didn't have to provide any proof of fund or
Wow.
any. So it was just, and that was happening just in a very short period of time. And
Yeah.
after that, there was a challenge of I don't know if I should go into that. A challenge of getting visa before to resume, because this was in December and was to resume January. So at that time, getting a date is difficult. Obviously,
Yes.
Nigeria is so difficult.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The waiting time is very long.
Yeah. So I had to later defer my admission, but then there was this challenge of it's rare for your funding to be deferred. You know what that means? If you're
Yes. Yeah.
an assistantship or you're giving a funding, you're expected to resume that time, and it has a
Yeah.
stipulated time frame. So you can't say, oh, you want to defer that. But I reached out to him like, okay, hello, Will Burns. This is happening. It might not really possible for me to meet up in January because of the visa issue and all of that. And he was like, no problem, that's okay. I will just reserve this for you to when you resume in fall. I was like, what is going on here?
Wow. Wow.
All of this was making Ford is a welcoming place for me already, just before
Yeah.
even coming here. So I was like, wow, it was a rare thing, very, very rare. So I think it
Yeah.
just put someone, another graduate student, to just fill in for that semester. And then I came in for the fall. And I'm still here and I'm wrapping up in May.
Wow, that is exceptional. That is definitely exceptional because, as you mentioned, most universities will not, keep the funding that they secured for you if you're not able to make it that semester. They will just find some other people who want to take advantage of the opportunity immediately. And if you defer your application and you try to come the following semester, you will have to go through the hurdles of securing some other funding. But in your case, because you remain in contact with the people that were helping you through the process, you communicated constantly with them, and they were nice enough to keep the funding that they got for you in order for you to be able to start your program in the semester that would allow you to secure your visa and travel to Fort Hays State University. So a message to our viewers is that it's not impossible, as Dami has just explained. Staying in touch with individuals at your department, staying in contact with the international office. People are here to help you, to assist you, and make sure that you come to the university, that you succeed in your degree program. Do not be shy or afraid to reach out to people thinking that you might be buffering them. They're here to, get you to gain admission to the university and also help you go through your program in any way they can. If they can provide assistantship or scholarships, they will definitely do that. But it's up to you. It's up to you, the student, to take the first step by reaching out. Nobody's going to hurt you for that. Reach out, talk to them, share your stories, and if they can help you, they would definitely be happy to do so. Damilola, you mentioned all those wonderful stuff, but we didn't talk about the program that you're studying here at Fort Hays State University. What is your major?
My major is Higher Education Student Affairs, in short,
And
ISA.
Why did you choose to study higher education?
So back home, I know I have a background in education, and in the master's I was doing in Nigeria then was in administration and leadership. I think no, educational administration kind of. So when I was looking out for the programs I wanted to do at Fort Hays, ISA was one of the resident programs. So obviously, if you're coming to the US to study, you can't pick a program that is online. That's not possible. So it has to be an in-person program. So I was looking out for administration too as well, but that one was kind of an online program. But then I was like, okay, let me even look at what this ISA has, because most times their program, they'll give a course overview of the program, the course requirement, all of that. So I read through and I'm like, wow, this is something interesting that I would love to do, because I'm involved in an NGO. I was involved in an NGO back in Nigeria, which I'm still part of them. So mostly we do more of like reaching out to high school students. We do a lot of counseling. We do a lot of sensitization. We do a lot of collaboration with them to speak with their students about career development, counseling about gender-based violence, and all of it that encompasses that. So
what NGO is that?
It's the Goodness Impact Foundation.
Goodness Impact Foundation.
Yes.
In case anybody at that institution or organization is watching out, shout out to them as well.
Yes, yeah. So that was like, okay, this has a connection for me either ways. So that's one thing I also learned, that you don't have to be one way, straightforward, one way traffic. You can always there's a way you can diversify what you're looking at. It will surely still come in line to, meet the end goal of what you're looking at. So I looked at the program like, okay, this has something to do with something I've loved doing, and I don't mind still doing this. And also, since I'm looking at administration, when I looked at the course overview, there was also like administrative side of things infused in it. So I was like, wow, this is like a two-way advantage for me. So I chose that program, obviously, because I really wanted to do something in the educational line. So I chose that program. That's why I started applying for it. I looked at the requirements, I met all the requirements and everything. So it was a good choice for me, and I don't even regret doing that program, because the program has really exposed me, or it broadened my mind about like student affairs. These are things that in Nigeria is not we don't really care about that, but it's a big deal here. And why not, if I have this knowledge and I can like give it a shot, and also like give back to my country, because it starts from somewhere. And the program, for the fact that the program has a practical side of things, there's no class I go to that there's no practical view of it, from the professors who are very experienced. Most of my professors are like top leaders in the school, the vice president of the school, that's chief vice president, the VPs, like people top management of the school. So having classes with people and they share with you personal stories, personal relations, or things that happen high up there. So it was like, like an eye opening. Anytime I go to class, it's always very enjoyable, because even like 2 hours plus long, but it's worth it every time. You always get something. I learned something every time beyond just the textbooks or whatever. There's always practicality and the realistic side of things with the program.
Yeah, awesome. All right, I want to take a moment and recognize our viewers. We have some people who are watching us live. We have Nesma, who is watching us from Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's sunny and beautiful today here. Thank you so much, Nesma, for being with us, and enjoy the beautiful weather in Bowling Green, Kentucky. We also have Baba Tunde, who is watching live from Ogun, Nigeria. Thank you so much, Baba Tunde. And of course, we have AY, who is also tuned in, and AY is Damilola's husband, watching us from Maryland. Thank you so much, AY, for being with us this morning. Damilola, you mentioned some significant things that you've been learning in your higher education program here at Ekiti State University, and you also shared your intention or your plans, to contribute and give back to your country, Nigeria. And in that sense, I read an op-ed that you recently published. Let me share that op-ed article that you published recently, right here in the This Day. I think it's a Nigerian-based newspaper. And in that article, you said you're suggesting, you're making some suggestion for educational reform in the country. You said you suggested that primary school should introduce students to world culture, global citizenship, and digital collaboration that connect them with peers in other nations. Secondary school should incorporate foreign languages, international case studies, and virtual exchanges that promote real-time cultural dialogue. Universities must partner with international institutions, promote student and faculty exchange programs, organize alternative break trips abroad, integrate global leadership and intercultural competence into their curriculum. And you went ahead and said, why must a Nigerian child wait until, right here, I'm reading this paragraph, wait until they are privileged enough to study abroad before learning how to engage with diverse cultures, global issues, and international opportunities. I found this article to be very, very important, and those are very good recommendations. Why do you think that's the case, that the Nigerian officials, I would say government, is not doing the things that you are suggesting, given the fact that the current Nigerian president, Tinubu, studied abroad. He was in the United States at some point, and his his Minister of Education also studied somewhere in the UK. And as I was saying in the intro, Nigerians are the #1 PhD holders among immigrants in the United States. How come that those people, those leaders, senior leaders at the country level that have studied abroad, that know the value of international education, are failing, if I may use that term, to implement the recommendations that you are making?
That's a very deep question. Well, I'll first say that someone like me, if not because of like me having to study abroad now, there are a lot of things that I wouldn't have known or learned. So, and that has just put me in a confinement of my locality, which is Nigeria. So me coming here has exposed me a lot, because obviously I'm not the only international student here. There are a lot of people from different countries studying just like as I am. So beyond the classroom engagement and classroom lectures, I'm also indirectly learning about other cultures, learning about other people's way of life, their personalities, learning how leadership works in that area. So, well, I can't really say why, having known that many of our leaders have had this experience of studying abroad, and that might be years way back. But I would say maybe then global leadership, or the global world, it was just something very pronounced then, like now. So now the way the world is going, like they say, the world is a global village. It's really it's a global village.
Yeah.
And what has happened then, things have really changed. There have been a lot of tweaks, there have been a lot of advancements. technology has skyrocketed that for everyone. So the kind of synergy that was then, that has been, that is now, we can't
Mhm.
compare it to how it was then. So technology has really brought the world so close to each other. And
Yeah.
then there is this need for more global exchange, cultural exchange than before. So I wouldn't really blame them in that instance because, like I said, we keep learning and there is exposure. And I would also go to the side of things that it also boils down to the passion that you have for education. Also, because, for example, I'm in the field, we see these things every day. We see how student affairs is. We see how we see the need for this global exchange, cultural exchange, and student wellness, student mental wellness, student well-being, academic success, and how it's very important. So this is something that I am involved. I'm in the field. I know how it is. I know how important it is. So it's coming from that place of passion, and it's something that is just natural. I'll just use that word, just natural.
Mhm.
They might have a different passion or commitment to something else that might not be education, but then
Yeah.
that's why we are working together. Everybody is focusing on each of our passions. I focus on my passion, focus on your passion. At the
Mhm.
end of the day, we make the world a global village. We make the world a better place for everybody. Just one person, the president or the minister, can't do everything because they might be focusing on the bigger picture. So
Mhm.
as individuals, whatever our passion might be individually, if you're focusing on that, doing our little in a little corner, it will also help to, make the bigger picture more realistic and more achievable. So I would say like it's just come from the place of, passion, and
Yeah.
they might have it, like I said, they have a bigger picture they are pursuing that is
Mhm.
different from mine and different from yours.
Yeah.
So and things have really changed. So the world has gone beyond what it was before. And like I said, technology has really infused and made, globalization very important and even so necessary.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely globalization. We are in an interconnected world, and yes, those suggestions that you're making in this piece, wonderful. And by the way, congratulations on publishing an op-ed. It's very important. I usually tell international students that are interested in pursuing higher education, that are not wanting to limit themselves at the master's level. If you're considering going to a PhD program, these are some of the things that you need to do. Publication, do research, publish newspapers, peer-reviewed articles. It is very significant. It is very important. That is going to me, I mean, it's one of the things that is going to make the difference if a university decide to admit you or not in the program. If you have some publications out there, I encourage you, to keep doing that. If not, you should start working on publishing articles and working with your faculty members under the supervision, the coaching. Get something out there. It will help you secure admission to a PhD program in the United States. Dami, I want us to talk about your experiences or your involvement, at Fort Hays State University. You are not the type of student that I call the triangular student. You are very much involved. What are some of the things that you are a part of at Fort Hays State University while you are pursuing your master's degree?
Okay, so start from the International Student Union because that's like the first engagement that I have and I currently still have. So during my first year, I was elected as the vice president of the International Student Union for a year. And in my second year, which is my current year now, I am
Wow.
the
So wait. You come in and immediately you are elected vice president of the International Student Association.
yeah.
Why did you feel it was important for you to be involved at that level, at the vice presidential level?
Funny enough, at the beginning, I was still new in the US, but I just felt like with encouragement and people that were like, okay, you can do it. And I'm like, okay, well, I know that I love to be in like activities like that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. That was at the beginning, but getting involved in it and also like my transition from Nigeria to the US, as days goes by, there was now like a more realization of what we face as international students, the challenges we face, and the issues that we come across, be it in classrooms with academic stress and academic transition in differences from each countries, from where you are and where you are now, coupled with isolation, social isolation, language barrier, cultural differences, culture shock, food differences. So it was now beginning to make sense that we really are going through a lot beyond what we think. So me being in the union was now, I was like, wow, this is a big deal. So it's made me to even get more involved, like organize events, go on trips, organize trips that we go on trips just to get international students more engaged and to build that collaboration among themselves, because international students, it's really broad, because we have people from China, from Paraguay, Brazil, India, Nigeria, Ghana, a lot of countries together. So getting to know ourselves and build that connection, that network, that collaboration amongst ourselves was very important. So that was at the beginning. So I was enjoying that transition. We did a lot of programs also, like just to have talks with our students, bringing faculty to talk with us and all of that. Do a lot of like international food and fashion festival, did lots of them. And then the second year, when I was doing my I did my second internship, should I say my practicum, at the Global Affairs. That was, anyway, I didn't have any other option. I was like, okay, this is where I'm doing my internship, the Global Affairs and International Student Services. So I was majorly focusing on programming. I was doing more of programming for the ISU. I was revamping a lot of things, our constitution, our bylaws, doing a lot of revamping just to give ISU a new face to the public, to the community, and also to the school at large, and even to domestic students. So that was like what I focused on. But when it was time for us to like transition to another tenure, so we did another election. So I was like, no, I don't want to be like a president or whatever. I'll let other people come in. I'll just stay by as, I'm like, okay, why don't you be our advisor? I'm like, okay, that's a good deal. And so I'm currently the advisor, student advisor for ISU, and it's
Wow.
been
Yeah.
really great. Like anytime it comes to we planning events or doing a lot of things and programming for international students, it's always like a joy for me. I just love it. I enjoy, because when you see yourself, you are in that thing, you are experiencing that thing, you can tell how other people are also going through that challenge. So it gives more sense and more meaning when you are doing that thing, because you're putting your whole self in that thing. Like it has to
Mhm.
be good, nothing
Yeah.
less. It has to be
Yeah.
excellent. It's
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's from the place of I'm in their shoes. I understand what's going on. So we have to keep making ourselves happy, do what will keep us going, and all of that, because we're
Mhm.
all together. And then yeah, at some point I was part of the leadership in higher education um club that's
Mhm.
organized by the ESA students.
Yeah.
So I know I'm a graduate student with the early
Mhm.
college program here. So
Mhm.
it's a whole lot of like, it's another work entirely as a
Yeah.
graduate assistant, working with early college students from high school. So do a lot of like sessions with them, one-on-one sessions, counseling sessions, talking to them about, it's a whole lot, but it's something that you
Mhm.
enjoy. So you don't really find it like stressful. It could be
Mhm.
stressful, but you don't really want to complain, because it's something you enjoy doing. And let me see the other things I'm involved with
Well,
in.
let's talk a little bit about your leadership. You mentioned that you served as vice president of the International Student Union at Ekiti State University, and after your term, I would say you had the opportunity to serve
Mhm,
as president, but you decided not to run for that position. I think that is leadership that you have displayed, leadership in action. From Africa, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, wherever you're watching us from Africa, we know how people at that level sometimes want to hold on to power.
mm,
Elected officials and so on and so forth. They want to seize power and remain in power forever. But in your case, you chose to step away and let some other individuals, step in as well and show what they are capable of doing and improving their leadership skills as well. And you stayed by the side and guiding them, serving as the advisor. As I said, that is leadership in action. Congratulations. And I am without any doubt that you have a bright future in leadership, be it in Nigeria or wherever you find yourself. Congratulations on that. In your bio, I saw that you were also involved in some other stuff, some organizations, KAMS, AMS. Do you want to talk a little bit about those programs and what are your responsibilities in those programs?
Okay, so the KAMS and AMS is the name for the early college program at Ekiti State University. It's called the Academy of Mathematics and Science, and the AMS side, which is the Academy of Mathematics and Science. So the difference between the both is the KAMS are for the Kansas residents, high school students, and the AMS is for international students and out-of-state students. So it just feels like everything I'm doing, there's always an infusion of international students in there. It's beautiful. So yeah, I work with them as a grade assistant. We do a lot of I do both the academic side of things with them, like preparing them for classes, registering them for classes, working with my assistant director and the director of the program as well, doing lots of programming for them, helping them with organizing events as well, ensuring that they are safe in the residential buildings where we have them, because they live on campus as well. So I also oversee the curfew checks we do every night for them and report to my director as well. I do one-on-one sessions with them for our seminars. I also work alongside with my my boss for the seminars we do every week for our students. And there are a lot of things that I do that might not be on paper. That's the beautiful thing about student affairs. A lot of things that we do that is not on
That is
paper.
true.
Yeah. So then for NASPA, that's an association that I'm part of. I'm a member of NASPA. That's the National Association for Student Personnel.
Well, we'll get the chance to dive deeper into that. But I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to Matthew, who is saying that you are inspiring. Thank you so much for joining us, Matthew, and hi to you. So yes, you were about to talk about your involvement in the professional association. But before we get there, I want to take this moment to also, share some words with our viewers. One common theme that I have seen so far with all the people that I've had on this show that are doing amazing stuff at the institution is the level of involvement on the campuses. And you are just one of those individuals, Damilola. You mentioned that when you joined Ekiti State University first year, you did not wait. You took on some leadership responsibilities. You were involved in the International Student Association, and you served as vice president of that organization, organizing different kind of events for the entire international student community at Ekiti State University to learn about, the community, the institution, and learn about some other cultures. Because as you mentioned, in that organization, there are many different nationalities. That's one of the beauties also of the American educational system. You get a chance to network and interact with people from all over the world. And you were the leader of people from all over the world, from China, from Peru, from Paraguay, from Senegal, from Nigeria, from Ghana, and so on and so forth. You did not wait. You took on some leadership roles. And beyond that, you worked with, statewide organization, KAMS, Kansas Academy of Mathematics, organizing some events for students in that specific program. And you did not limit yourself to being just involved on campus. You also chose to join a professional organization, which is NASPA. And I want you now to tell us more about that organization. What is NASPA, and what are you doing with that professional organization?
So NASPA is a community. I'll first say that it's a community of student affairs personnel from all over, not just the US, but all over the world. So we come together every year, mostly in March, for the conference. So it's a place where I would say, first of all, it's a place where most people come to, debrief the stress they've had for a whole year, get encouraged, meet with people, network with other people. It's also a place where you get access to people who are in top positions in big universities, talk of from Harvard, from Stanford, Yale, different universities across the world. So it's an opportunity to network with people like this with in the conference, have conversations with them. It's a place of access because on a normal day, if you even know, oh, this is the president of this page, you can't just walk up to the person like that. But in this association, like I said at first, it's a community. So once they know you're a member, it gives you that access to meet with people, have
Yeah.
conversations with them on the round table. It's a place where you can also come to make present about your work, talk about what you're facing. There are lots of a lot of seminars in the conference that you can attend. The one that relates with you, that relate what you're going through at the moment, the challenge you're facing, what you want to learn in student affairs, and also get updates on what is trending in student affairs, not just in the US but all over the world. And like I said, people come from all over the world because I also attend the international symposium before the conference, where it's specifically for those who are international educators and you want to get more exposure about what is trending all over the world, international side of things, the challenges that we face, how to resolve it, the issues, and all of that. So I always love that part because obviously that's where I really focus. That's like my focus, and so why not keep having this continuous conversation with people. And I went last year and I went this year, so going this year, those I met last year came again, and meeting them, even if it was like in a long time, it was like we've known each other for a long time. So it's really like a community that everyone sees each other like, oh, you're my family, you're my sister, you're my brother. You talk about things going on, you share your story. I know everyone is willing to like impute one or two things that could help you in your career or in whatever you're going through at the point in time. I also attended the KIE conference, that's the Kansas International Educators Conference last year. And I would say that was also like a very eye opener for me as when it comes to international education in Kansas, and which can be applied to every other areas too in
Yeah.
higher education.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very, very inspiring indeed. And thank you to Ponobong Obo, who is watching us from Lagos, Nigeria. Hello to you, and thank you for joining us this morning or this afternoon. If you're watching us from Lagos, Nigeria, I think it's in the afternoon down there. You mentioned a lot of inspiring things, being involved with those professional organizations such as NASPA and KIE. You said those are communities where you gain the chance to meet people that you wouldn't have been able to meet, anywhere else, right? And one thing that I usually share with our international students is that beyond going to classrooms or classes, beyond being involved on campus through student organizations, finding professional associations in your field and being a part of those associations is going to be instrumental. If you're watching us this morning and you are an international student already in the United States, or you intend to come as an international student in the United States, please take notes on everything that Dami has mentioned that she's done. Joining those professional organizations and going to conferences, you get the chance to meet with senior leaders at many different organizations, many different institutions. And those are the type of people that would be instrumental in your career path. If you go to those conferences, for example, and you give presentations, and you do not limit yourself to just presenting and packing and coming back home, but you take the time to talk to people, to network with them, to take their contacts and stay in touch with them. When the time comes for you to graduate and you'll be looking for internship opportunities or job opportunities, and you've met presidents, vice presidents, directors, provosts, and so on and so forth, whatever your field is, those are the individuals that can help you secure those kind of job opportunities, those type of internship opportunities. So do not limit yourself to just going to class and getting all A's, and at the end of your program, you're like, oh, I'm missing on something. Oh, now I need to find an internship. Oh, now I need to find a job, and I don't have any connection. I usually tell people that it's all about who you know. Nobody cares, for the most part, about what you know, but it's all about who you know. People are definitely, they would call you and ask you if you want to work with them.
Yeah.
It happens even in the United States. It's all about who you know. So taking the time to network, taking the time to go to conferences, just like Dami has done and has built that significant network with other peers in NASPA and KIA, it's definitely going to be beneficial when you will be looking for opportunities to either go for a PhD program because you've met with people at institution that would recommend you for their institution. You've met those individuals that can also, if they have openings, that can reach out to you and say, hey, we met at that conference and we know what you are able of doing. We would love to have you work with our organization. They would invite you to apply. And I usually also share my personal story. I've been invited to apply for job opportunities in Indiana. I went to school in Indiana and in Kentucky. And my current position here at Fort Hays State University, it was through those some of those networking events. I met my employers, stayed in contact with them. And then, they told me that they would love to have me work with them. And here I am today. So networking, going out, putting yourself out of your comfort zone. I know it's not easy. It's easier said than done, putting yourself out there. But yes, you need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to work under the leadership of your faculty members. Ask them about professional organization. Ask them how you can also be a part of those professional organizations. Ask them about conference opportunities. If they're going to conferences, ask them if you can join. And a good thing about the American educational system also is that universities will provide funding for you to attend those conferences. Isn't that beautiful? They would pay for your flight, they would pay for your hotel. All you need to do is have a reason to attend that conference. Write a paper, apply to present that paper, and the university will take care of funding everything for you to attend those conferences. So do not stay in your comfort zone. Do what Damilola has shared with us. So Dami, I want you to share some of the benefits of you attending those conferences. I know that you also did an internship at a very prestigious university in the United States. I think is it Bana, affiliated with
Columbia University.
With Columbia University. So share a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too. So I'm also a part of Akokowai. It's also an association too. It's for residential life kind of association. So it was through Akokowai I got my first internship at Columbia University, the almighty Columbia University. Who would have thought? But it is true communication and talking to people, which is something I really, really, really encourage everyone to build on that. I'm also still building on communication. It's a lifelong thing. It's very important to learn how to communicate with people, ask questions. Like, I always believe that it does not hurt. If I ask question or I ask for this opportunity and you tell me no, it's no problem. I know that I have asked, and that's like better for me than not even asking at all. How I got to be a part of NASPA, I heard about NASPA from a course mate of mine, and I was like, okay, I'm going to see if I'm going to talk to my boss, if it's something that can be funded for me. And it was just through a communication and, talking to her about it. And she was like, sure, that's not a problem. So first time I went, second time I went also, it was all funded. Even the KIE conference, it was funded. And getting to join Akokowai as a member, most times this association also have like scholarships for you to be a member. Sometimes if you don't even have the money to pay to be a member, you can just apply for scholarships, which is between the time frame, and they'll waive the the scholarship, the membership fee for you, and then you have access to a lot of things, meeting people, having conversations with people in Akokowai. getting access to a lot of internship opportunities that you can jump on, and that was how I got my internship at Columbia University, affiliated with Barnard College. And it was a wonderful experience. And I'm going back there again this year for another internship, because obviously they are hoping to have me back. So that was like the communication I had. A lot of other things that I've also been able to get was through communication. There's one thing I've learned here is that if you don't talk, if you don't ask questions, nobody knows what's going through your mind. Nobody knows what you want. So if you don't ask that question, if you don't have that conversation, if you don't communicate, everyone is trying to figure out their own life. So if you don't talk about it, if you don't speak about it, nobody's going to help you. So I'm a person that I'm always lover of, like, I'm going to ask that question. Is either you
Yeah.
say yes or no, and if you say no, no problem, I move on to the next thing on how to get
Yeah.
that thing.
Not to cut you short, but in that same vein, asking question, we have Akisinka Emmanuel, who is watching us from Lagos, Nigeria, who just put in the comment section, always ask question, it won't hurt anybody. You can proceed, Dami.
Yeah. So like you said, it won't hurt. It wouldn't hurt you. It might make you feel bad, like, oh, she said no, but I've learned to have a, what's it called, a bulletproof for no. If you say no, no problem, I'm moving on to the next person I feel can help me, or next
Mhm.
available resource that can help me achieve that thing. There are always 1001 possible ways to get things done. So if one doesn't work, think of another thing that can help you achieve that thing. Just keep thinking. And like I said at the beginning, if at the end of the day I've exhausted every option I have to get something done and it doesn't work out, or it doesn't come out the way I want, then I know that I have that peace within me that, oh, I've tried everything to get things done. So that's
Mhm.
one thing I would say. And yeah, I think I've answered that question, how I got Akokoa internships.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right. I wanted to also share about a post that Babatunde put in the comment section. He said, today's chat has been an eye-opener to the many benefits of an international education. International students tend to experience much more getting involved in other extracurricular activities other than just academics. So yeah, definitely being involved in uh, extracurricular activities is crucial, very instrumental in your overall experience as an international student in the United States. As I said
I want
again,
to add something.
yes, go ahead.
So most times international students always feel intimidated. That's the reality. Especially when you want to take on positions, you feel intimidated because you see other domestic students, they are very articulated, can speak fluently, and you, even when you're trying to communicate with them, they aren't hearing you very well. And like, and it's like, sorry, come again. So a lot of these things make you feel intimidated at the beginning. But one thing I
Yeah.
would say is that if you don't try, if you don't start, if you don't do something, you can't get better at it. So at the beginning, I just like, okay, why not? Let's give it a try. And I
Mhm.
noticed that I remember I was telling my manager from my second internship, that's Ellie. Shout out to Ellie. I saw
Mhm.
that most times there I have this, you have these qualities in you. Probably you with your experiences back in your country, for example, like Nigeria, you've done a lot of wonderful things, but you coming to a new country where you can do it, but then you are already intimidated by a lot of things around you. You then suppress that ability that you have in you. But
Mhm.
then when I, push myself out to do all of this, I'm like, wow, I knew I had this thing, but it was like a wake up call that you still
Yeah.
have this in you. You don't keep it quiet. So beyond those challenges, the major thing which you still have in you, you can still explain. When people keep saying you're doing so well, doing so, I'm like, okay, like,
Mhm.
to me, I feel
Yeah.
like it's a cool thing, but it just made me realize that those initial challenges or issues were just at the face value. It didn't really define what I had in me or what I could do.
Yeah, that is very, very, very powerful point that you've made. Yes, as international students, yes, it can definitely be intimidating. I usually tell people that when I first came to school in the United States with a master's degree in English, I felt like I had never studied English. Because yes, you would be sitting in a class and your peers, classmates particularly, they would be speaking so fast and you'd be like, what is going on here? What are they talking about? And that can shut you down if you are not prepared mentally, if you're not, you do not build that strength of putting yourself out there and telling to yourself that, yes, I'm going to try again. Today I was defeated. I wasn't able to, contribute significantly to what was going on around me, be it in class or in the community. But if with those defeats that you take initially shut you down and you decide to stay in your corner, you're not going to grow. You're not going to make any improvement. But keep pushing, keep putting yourself out there, trying hard, contributing, and that's how you make significant improvement. And that's how it becomes natural for you to interact with people, be it in class or in the community, and you will see that it's possible. Yes, we come with a lot of abilities, but initially you might be shut down with the first interactions that you might have with the people. It might be difficult for them to understand you when you're talking to them, and they will ask you to repeat, as Dami was mentioning. I was never, offended by those interactions. Yes, I know that I have an accent that is not common among Americans, but by continuously interacting with them and improving my speaking skills, I was able, I think, to successfully integrate that community. I did not let the defeats that I took initially shut me down and put me in a corner and then just graduate and go home. No, I think I was able to successfully integrate the community because I accepted to put myself out there. So do not be afraid. Yes, initially you might experience some defeats. It might be tough, but keep pushing, keep pushing. That's how you end up, being successful in your academic journey and professional journey here in the United States. Damilola, we are more than an hour of conversation, and I know that we can keep going. But yes, I want us to address some other stuff coming up for you. You, as you mentioned earlier, you are about to wrap out your master's program. What is next after your master's degree?
Okay, so what is next for me? First, to go for the internship I have already for the summer, and then after that, my PhD program.
Okay, so internship, is that an OPT?
Yes, yes.
Do you mind explaining to our viewers what an OPT is for those who in the US? I would think that most of the international students in the US already know what OPT is, but for those who are planning to come, the prospective international student, what is an OPT?
Yeah, so the OPT is optical training, optical
Optional, practical.
practicum. Yeah, so it's
Great.
that allows you as an international student to work for a year if you're not a non-STEM. You're non-STEM if your program is non-STEM, but if your program is a STEM program, you can always renew for, like, I think, for 3 years. So it's just an opportunity for international students to gain experience in the US after their program. And it is accessible for both if you're finishing your bachelor's, or probably it's a master's, or it's a PhD program. So it's not only just for a particular set of graduate students. And yeah, it's just basically that you go through the process with the International Student Office, the documentation, the requirements, and you get the card that gives you a work authorization to work for that short period of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely right. As she mentioned, as an international student, once you are in the United States and you start your academic program, you can work on campus while you're pursuing your degree program, and those are called CPT. I mean, well, on-campus jobs are not CPTs. You can work on campus, but if you want to work off campus while you're still in school, that is what it's called CPT, curricular practical training. That is something that has to do with your major. It's a job that has to have something to do with your major, and you usually do that with the help of your one of your professors. You'll be taking a class that is kind of related to a job that you need to do off campus, and you'll also work with the international office to secure some authorization for you to take advantage of those CPT. And then after you graduate, the OPT, optional practical training, is an opportunity that is offered to all international students to work full-time anywhere in the United States. And as Dami mentioned, if you are a STEM major, you can work for up to 3 years. But if you are STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, so you can work for 3 years if you are in one of those STEM fields. But otherwise, you can work for up to 1 year. And Dami has just mentioned that she was able to secure an internship, an OPT opportunity. And that is because, I would assume, because of her involvement, not only on campus, but through some of the professional organizations that she has mentioned that she's a part of. She joined NASPA, she joined the KIA, she attended conferences, and she was able to build a solid network with individuals, with leaders at some higher education institutions that saw her potential and decided to hire her to work for them after she graduates. And you also mentioned that you are considering going for a PhD program after your work experience in the United States. What major are you considering? Are you going to stick with higher education, and what are some of the institutions that you're considering going to?
So I have like I said at the beginning, that getting to figure out the program you want, you have to make sure that you are not just so rigid in just one. You can just look out for, because they are different. The thing about US institutions is that the name a particular institution will call this program will be different from another institution. But if you look closely at the course overview and all the course objectives and the programs they have underneath, it's still the same thing. So that's like number one thing. So having that flexible mind to just not just be too rigid. Then secondly, also looking at how the program would give you a futuristic should I say a future or a career future, a future in your career in the long run. So for me, I'm looking at comparative international education. So this is PhD in education, but then I'm looking forward to focus more on comparative international education as a concentration. However, I'm also looking at school psychology and health psychology. But in the long run, whatever I'm focusing on, my concentration or my research interest will be majorly more on international students, basically. Yeah. So schools that I'm looking out for schools that have those programs, which is number one thing. So in looking out for schools that you want, you have to first look out for schools that have your program interest. So look at
Absolutely.
schools like Morgan State University that has that program. I checked University of Maryland, checked Ohio University, checked a lot of them. Then Stephen F. Austin University as well. So those are like the schools that I've been working alongside with. I think also George Washington University as well. So those are schools I've been looking at, and I know that soon, possibly, we're going to start as planned.
Okay, great. And to the people at those institutions that you've mentioned, George Washington, Morgan State University, University of Maryland, if you by any chance watching this video, know that you have a very good PhD candidate that will bring some wonderful experiences, not only in your classes, but also on your overall campus community. She brings a lot of experience in higher education, a lot of experiences in working with international students, and bringing some transformative experiences, not only for international students, but also for your domestic student population. And as I was saying earlier, when I shared the article you recently published, I think that position you significantly in gaining admission to some of those universities that you mentioned. You're addressing the importance of integrating international education to the Nigerian curriculum. And I think if this is something that you want to pursue as research, those universities will definitely be a good fit for you, and they will be lucky to have you on the campus. For our viewers, Dami, what are some of the concluding word of wisdom that you want to share with them, those who are looking to gain not only admission to American universities, but also to get scholarships, assistantships? What are some concluding word that you can share with them?
Okay, first of all, I'll say number one, be ready to take a risk. So they'll say you can eat your cake and have it, but anyways, that's that. But be ready to take risk, because studying abroad, it's a big risk. So if you're not willing to take that risk, it might be hard for you to go that length, because there are a lot of obstacles that might come your way, a lot of financial implications that will come across the way. So you have to be able to be ready to take risk. Secondly, like I said, communication is very important. Um, if you're ready to communicate, they won't shut you out. If you know how to communicate well through emails, make sure that you are, very articulated in your words, you communicate well, that they understand what you're trying to say, brief and concise, they will surely respond to you. I think the US system is not one that will just shove your emails by the side. If peradventure they don't even have an answer to your question, they will surely refer you or connect you with someone that can provide answers to your question. So don't be afraid to ask questions. If you're looking at, okay, I don't know if this school has funding or something, ask them, ask the department, ask the admissions committee, ask the graduate school. Just ready to ask questions. It wouldn't hurt at all. It wouldn't hurt at all. That's the communication. Then three, building connections and networks. So beyond just academics, it's good to have a 4.00 or 5.0, but it's important that you have a portfolio that is diversified, not just academics alone, because beyond just your academics, the truth is that when companies want to recruit you, or institutions, they're also looking out for the practical side of you, the realistic side of you. How you've been able to work with people, how you've been able to, manage challenges in a work environment, how you've been able to, bring solutions to problems. Those are the things they look out for. And how do you get all of this? It is true all these extracurricular activities. It's true you having and working as a grade assistant or as a student worker in all of. So it's important that you're not just rigid on just, oh, I'm going to study, just have 4.0. It's going to be a boring life, because academic here, it's can be strenuous and stressful, because it can be mentally draining. So you should have things that will, give you that would make you feel fulfilled aside academics. Feel fulfilled in who you are, what you know yourself to be, in your strengths. So you have to engage in those activities that would keep building those strengths of yours, because it will help you in the long run when you are looking for jobs or internship opportunities later on. Then also, international students are also not left behind, even when it comes to scholarships. When you're already in the US, if you get into the US, most universities, they always have a lot of scholarship opportunities even while you're in the program. So through financial aid, there's a lot of scholarship you can apply to and you can get, that would also help you with some finances while you're here, to just help you ease some stress. So there are a lot of opportunities that are here, that if it is until when you get in here, you would see them, you would know them, you will hear about them. So if you don't take that step at the beginning, there's no how you can see it. Is, you can only see how far, you can only see what you can see at the, just within how many meters or centimeters between you. So you can't see beyond your nose. So it is only what you can see at the moment that you can see. So when you move ahead, when you move forward a step more further, you keep seeing and you keep seeing, and everything becomes more clearer for you. So that's one other thing. So I mentioned that already. And building connections, like I said, attending conference. There's one thing I've noticed about the US system. It is more about connection. It's more about referrals. Even someone who does not have a strong GPA as you can get a job before you through connections and networks. Through some of the conferences I've attended, like I've gotten like some internship, even some that was okay. Yeah, so what's your next plan? This is okay. If you need a job, take my card, just reach out to me. So that's how it happens. No one is looking out to look at your GPA. It is probably when they want to get your documentation and your CV, they will now say, oh, okay, what's your GPA? So that's not like the first thing that comes to their mind. They want to see you, they want to know you, because it is someone that they know through referrals. They can be able to hold someone accountable, that, oh, I can vouch for this person, and this person, I've been with this person, I've related with this person, I can say this person is good to work with. So networking and connection is very important to go far here in the US. It's not about academics, it's not about how you're a brainiac or not. You have to, be street smart. I will use that word, street smart, in connecting with people. Don't be, it's very difficult to connection, networking, because like going out of your comfort zone, but then you just have to do it, because if you want to go further, you have to just come out of your comfort zone, meet people, Just a smile, a conversation wouldn't hurt. And these conversations will not go beyond what you do, your program, your future plans, what you're looking at, and maybe conversation around probably in the conferences. Just find something to say, just have a conversation, be open to having a conversation, be open-minded. And also, like I said, always ask questions. Ask anybody. If you have friends in the US, you've been trying to figure out about this program, ask your friends here, ask your colleagues, ask those who are in the program already, send emails. Don't be shy to send emails. Keep sending the emails till you find clarity on what you're looking for. And like I said, if you don't start, you would not go any further. You will not go far. So that's just all I would say. And yeah,
That,
be positive, be very
yeah,
positive, very important.
be positive mindset. Wow, what an inspiring conclusion, Damilola. So I wrote down 3 key takeaways that you mentioned. The first is accepting to take risks. As you mentioned, coming to the United States for studies from Africa it's a big risk that you're taking. You're jumping into the unknown. You have probably never had any experience in the United States. It's a completely different world, but you must be willing to take that risk if you want to build a good future for yourself and for your family. Because yes, those individuals who've accepted to take that risk to be involved in international education, and that is backed by data, a lot of empirical data. They are those type of individuals that contribute significantly to their communities. So accept to take that risk and study abroad in the United States. And Dami has also mentioned that you need to be willing to communicate very well with the people that you will be interacting with throughout the application process. It doesn't hurt to reach out to people at your institution and ask questions about funding. I was accepted at your university. What are some of the scholarship opportunities that are available for me to apply to? Nobody's going to hurt you for that. It won't hurt you either. Just do it the right way. Do not back them. Ask nicely the question, and people, as I said, are always willing to help you, to guide you through your application process. And if they have opportunities that are available, they will definitely orient you toward those opportunities and help you secure them. And Damilola has also mentioned that building connection is crucial. It is central. Do not be the type of student who is only worried about getting all A's. And as she perfectly put it, you might graduate with a 4.0, but somebody with a 2.5 would be hired before you just because they put themselves out there, they networked, and they know people who can help them secure internship opportunities and job opportunities. So make sure that once you make it here, you do not focus only on getting all A's and getting graduating with a 4.0 and packing and going back to wherever you came from, because you can definitely take advantage of the many opportunities that are available for you to take advantage of. So that will be all for today. And again, thank you so much, Damilola, for joining us. Thank you for our viewers, those who stay tuned with us till now. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, again, please feel free to do so. As I said, it's going to help us grow. It's going to help us continue bring you some inspiring individuals just like Damilola to share their stories so that you too can make your dream come true, that dream of studying abroad in the United States. Thank you so much. And we will see you in 2 weeks with another guest. Thank you so much, Damilola. Thank you. Bye-bye.
More. Thank you, Fatin. Bye.